February 1959. 9 experienced hikers set up camp on a remote mountainside in the Ural Mountains. Within hours, something forced them to slash their way out of their own tent, from the inside, and run barefoot into freezing darkness. All 9 died. Soviet investigators closed the case citing an unknown compelling force. 65 years later, with the full case file declassified, nobody has ever fully explained what actually happened that night. 0:45 to 2:15, the expedition group, led by Igor Dyatlov, were skilled cross-country skiers on a routine expedition through the Ural Mountains. They were experienced, well-equipped, and had survived far worse conditions before. On the night of February 1st, they pitched their tent on the slope of Kolat Syakhl, a name that translates, ominously, to Dead Mountain in the local Monsey language. When they failed to check in as scheduled, a search party was sent. What they found made no sense. The tent had been cut open from the inside, and footprints, some in socks, some entirely barefoot, led away from camp into sub-zero temperatures, away from safety. 2:15 to 3:45, the Bada search teams found the first 2 bodies near a large cedar tree, in their underwear, with signs of trying to climb the tree to see something. 3 more were found between the tree and the tent, apparently trying to return. The final 4 were discovered months later, buried under snow in a ravine, and this is where it gets stranger. These 4 had catastrophic internal injuries, crushed ribs, a fractured skull, comparable to a car crash, yet no external wounds or bruising. 1 woman was missing her tongue. Soviet forensics couldn't explain injuries of that severity without any external force strong enough to cause them. 3:45 to 5 o'clock, the official Filithi Soviet investigation was closed within weeks, its files immediately classified. The official conclusion listed simply an unknown compelling force as the cause of death, an explanation so vague it raised more questions than it answered. Some radiation was detected on the victim's clothing. Theories since have ranged from a secret weapons test, to an avalanche, to infrasound-induced panic, to simple hypothermia-driven irrational behavior. None account for every detail. None have been proven. 5 o'clock to 5:45, the unresolved Partin 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case and again concluded it was likely an avalanche, a theory forensic experts and family members of the victims have publicly disputed, since the tent showed no burial pattern consistent with a slide, and the injuries don't fully align with typical avalanche trauma. To this day, nobody has produced an explanation that accounts for every piece of evidence in the file. Which leaves one simple, unsettling question: what would make 9 experienced hikers cut their way out of their only shelter, in freezing temperatures,